I was diagnosed with Anti-NMDA Receptor Encephalitis on the 29th of August 2014. My first major symptoms started on the 2nd of August, where I had my first seizure. It then carried on for about 2 weeks of going back and forth to the hospital and the doctors where I was having seizures, and they were saying it was just panic attacks or anxiety. I was due to go on holiday on the 20th of August to Luxembourg to visit my auntie. The day before, my mum was quite concerned about me because I'd been losing my memory and forgetting where I was and having these screaming fits that the doctors were just putting down to anxiety. So I went to the doctors and I sat in a chair and I said, I feel twisted and my head feels like a lollipop. And they said, can you explain what you mean? So I turned all the way around in the chair, put my legs up on the wall, back down to the floor, and she just said it was anxiety due to flying. I mentioned that my balance was off and that my head had been really hurting, and she said it was just an ear infection that was causing me to go off balance. So she wrote on my medical note, safe to fly, told me to enjoy my holiday. So we got to Gatwick the next day, myself and Martin. We got on the plane. I was really agitated and screamed the whole hour plane journey. As soon as the plane touched the floor, I was at the door ready to go. The air hostess were asking if I was okay, and Martin said I'm just a bad flyer. So then we got to my auntie's and I was just going crazy. I was hallucinating. I was speaking to people that weren't there. I was seeing things. I was convinced that the bed was a monster. I got admitted to hospital because I'd had a seizure, and they said that it was severe sleep deprivation and severe dehydration. So they advised my auntie to give me these sleeping tablets that would knock me out. But after the third one, I was still climbing the walls and screaming. My mum and my auntie and Martin decided that Martin would come home and my mum would fly out. The day that happened, my mum arrived and I had a big seizure. So I got admitted to the psychiatric ward at Luxembourg Hospital. I kept trying to escape. I kept telling them that I shouldn't be here. So then I got transferred to the closed psychiatric ward, and luckily I don't remember anything, but my mum does, and she said it was horrible. I had a seizure where I stopped breathing, and one of the nurses said that she'd read an article on encephalitis the week before and she thought it was that. So they did some tests and it came back positive. My life has been pretty awful. It sounds really depressing saying it, but it has ruined my life. I'd lost a lot of weight before I got ill, and because of the steroids and not being mobile, I've put it all back on. I had a really good job as an apprentice at an after-school club, and the week before I got ill, they made me a permanent member of staff, and I haven't even been able to go back. In a way, it's made me feel grateful because people that I thought would be there weren't, and then people that I didn't think would be there were. And it's really stupid, but it's brought all of me, my whole family together. I'm really good friends with my older brother, whereas I didn't really talk to him before, not in a bad way, but we just had our own lives, whereas our lives are together now. Me and my mum haven't had an argument since I've been ill. We always joke about it, but we've never argued with each other since being ill. I'm a lot closer to my 3 sisters, and my little brother's my best friend, so yeah, everyone's just very... It's a lot better. It's brought everyone together, but obviously for the wrong reasons. I've got quite severe memory loss. It is improving slowly, so I just have blank gaps now. So, for example, my granddad died in August last year, and my other granddad died in 2008, and I cannot remember a single thing about his funeral, and that's what hurt a little bit, because I was I don't remember where we went, what we did. Some things day to day I forget, so unless I've written it down I won't remember what I've done yesterday. It's a really hard thing. I've really got to force myself to remember. It just doesn't stay logged. Another thing that I've been having issues with recently is I don't know what memories are real or not anymore. I can look at a picture and my brain will create a new memory, and I don't know if that's true or not. So I'm left a bit confused sometimes as to what I actually do and don't remember. So I've suffered a lot of like social phobia. I don't like going out of the house, and at one point I wouldn't leave the house without someone being with me. Me and Martin will come down to the beach, and because it's like you can drive up to it, we can just sit out the front, or I'll go with my friend and we can sit on the bench and like have a little walk around. It is really nice being at the beach because it's like calming and it's relaxing and it's something nice to look at. I met Martin in December 2010 and we got together. Got 2 cats, Misty and Tipsy. So we'd been on holidays together and we decided to go on holiday with my auntie. That was at 3.5 years together. Then I got hit with the encephalitis and it was our 4-year anniversary a couple of months after that. And that's when everything changed really. It just became so much harder. Like, he wasn't prepared for what was going to happen. And in a sad way, he went from being my boyfriend to my carer. But for the first year, it was really hard and we argued constantly and he was really affected and he still is really, like, he's scarred from it all. Like, he had to put up with so much, but we've been together 6 years now, so he could have walked away at like any time, but he decided not to. Like, he said that was just never something on his mind. He's still here and he still loves me and I love him. I first found out encephalitis was a brain injury when the community brain injury service in Poole contacted me. And I was like, why are you contacting me? And they said, because you have a brain injury. And I said, well, how? And they said encephalitis. And I said, no, that's inflammation of the brain. It's inflammation, not a brain injury. And they said, no, it is a brain injury. So they were helping me with my rehabilitation. Because I was attending quite a lot of the group sessions and stuff, they asked if I'd like to do some volunteer work with them. So I said yes, and my occupational therapist, Jackie, was part of the REC group, which is the Recovery Education Centre. And they do a lot of different groups for people with mental health. And we created a fatigue management course. So I helped with the ideas of what to do. So did a lot of other brain injury survivors. And then I was offered to teach it. So I said yes. And it's really ironic, me teaching a fatigue management course, because I have such awful fatigue and I really don't handle it well. But all my suggestions are really welcomed by the people that do have fatigue, and it's just really nice teaching the course and meeting people that understand how you're feeling. And I've met a couple of other people with brain injuries through the course, and everyone's story is so different, and it's so nice to be able to help people. I loved the family weekend. It really took me out of my comfort zone because it was a year to the date that I'd been diagnosed, and I felt so ill the whole time I was there. I was exhausted, but they did really take me out of my comfort zone, and they made me climb up cliffs and stupid things like that that I was like, oh God. But no, it was really nice meeting other people and actually getting to meet the society and see who's behind it all. And I met people that know how I'm feeling, and Martin got to meet other carers to see how they feel. And yeah, it's just a really great thing to have. I had 7 nephews and I didn't have a niece. And then my brother called me and he said, Olivia's pregnant. I went, don't lie. And he said, yeah. Just throughout the whole pregnancy, I was just so excited. And then she was born on the 6th of June, 3 days before my birthday. And since then, we've just had this bond that's been so amazing. She's really helped me through my recovery. It sounds really silly because she's just a baby and she can't do anything. But having that responsibility to look after her and knowing that people trust me to look after her, when I'm with her, I just don't feel alone. And I don't know how to say it, but I just can't, she's helped with my recovery so much more. Before her, I wasn't very happy and stuff, and now I've got this little girl. She's my reason to be happy, even though she's not mine. And she really, really does help with my recovery. She gets me out the house. She gets me out of my comfort zone, and because I'm with her, I've got to constantly be doing something to keep an eye on her. So I'm managing my fatigue with her, and I'm managing my memory loss, and my responsibilities have got to be on her. So yeah, she's amazing.